8-bit breakdown.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to 8-Bit Breakdown. I am one part of your host, Kevin Moore.
And I am the additional co-host here on the stream.
I don't like host and co-host.
We're the hosts. We are your host.
We are the hosts.
We are your hosts. Kevin Moore and M Fear.
Or Kevin and Mike. Whatever
Kevin
you want
and
to
Mike
call
works
us.
too.
It doesn't matter. So anyways, everyone, we decided to make this podcast. Mike and I, give you a little background. Mike and I have been discussing this 7 years now.
Very
long time.
Many years.
And we both listen to podcasts probably every single day. And every time we talk about music or video games or really anything, we kind of shoot the shit with each other and we say, dude, we should do this one day. And I'm pretty sure how most podcasts start. But Mike and I just have a knack. Couldn't tell you what the hell that knack is, but
it's a knack for banter.
It's a knack for bullshit.
Yeah.
What it is.
That's for lack of a better. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
But that's the main idea. Our biggest thing is Mike and I both grew up, albeit same town, separate sides of the town, really. We both grew up on music and video games, and that was like our escape, would be the best way to describe it. Again, as most everyone would have the same kind of upbringing story. But we just love it with a passion. A lot of passion. Big time.
We do. Yeah, I think it's an escape for us to have an unfiltered, non-corporate fluff take on what we really like. Real, raw, potentially unhinged at times.
Buck wild.
But in essence, I think overall we want to create a community, based on, things we like. Because I feel that there's certainly a subculture or niche group of people that I feel fall into the category of, for one, loving video games, and secondly, loving metal. I don't think there's I wouldn't even say a small niche. I would put it out there and say that there's a a large chunk of the population out there that
there's a big ass community out there.
There's a lot, yeah. And at the crux of it all, we're just nerds, but we love good music and we like video games.
We like heavy fucking breakdowns. Let's put it that way.
I love heavy breakdowns and extreme carnage. Just Doom guy.
So Doom guy and mixed with Slaughter to Prevail put together kind of goes hand in hand.
That's true.
Positive there's a video of Alex Terrible.
There
singing
is.
Or screaming.
He did
Doom metal.
He did BFG, what's the song called? That Mick Gorgon did. It was BFG something. But it's from Doom Eternal. And he's screaming over it. Yeah. It's very good.
Everyone
many times.
Keep in mind we don't have any notes on this. We have little spots. We have hot spots. But we have no notes on this whatsoever. A lot of this is going to go into freestyling. This is something fun for us to do. If it turns into something bigger, that's great. But at the end of the day, we just want to have fun. And again, I feel like it's a lot of what other podcasts say. I'm here talking about how many hot dogs I can eat in a row.
Oh, dude,
we can million hot dogs.
We can do that. We can make that one of our streams.
Sucking back hot dogs
for a benefit of some sort. I'll suck back hot dogs, dude. How
We
many
gotta we
how
gotta
many
keep
you think I can suck back?
uh, I don't know, how many did that one guy do? He did, like,
Well,
28.
he did
Imaginary,
he
but,
did 50 hypothetical hot dogs, but I
yeah.
can I can make that
I do
happen.
physical hot dogs strong down my throat. Keep in mind, our humor sometimes I think Mike and I's humor may get a little dark, but that's just if you're listening look, let's put it this way, if you're listening to Immortal Disfigurement or, you know, uh, what's another give me another, band, any band,
Cannibal Corpse.
All Shall Perish, just if
Yeah.
Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, like, if we're
Yes. Yes.
I mean, if you're listening to this, and dark humor bothers you, we're probably not the podcast for you, I can tell you that.
It's the beauty of the program.
Correct, correct.
Yes.
But, yeah, so we're just excited to get this started, but we hope to hear more from everybody. Smash that like button. Can I say that now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can this official. We can certainly
S
smash that like and hit
Smash
subscribe.
that like button. Subscribe.
You
Ring the bell
know,
to get notified.
YouTube these days.
There we go. I think that's all I got.
Yeah,
I don't know how the
me too.
tiki-taki works, but we'll
Yeah.
figure out
Oh,
the old tic-tac,
we'll get there. We'll
as
be
my
part of the
father and
Chinese algorithm before it's over.
as my fa as my father-in-law calls it, the tic-tac. The
Oh,
damn tic-tac. Oh, like, we'll talk about him on the podcast quite a bit.
oh, yeah,
Oh,
between me and Kevin, we have pretty similar families here, or families, I mean, parents. Um, and,
you're similar.
we have the sweetest mothers. Don't know how they ended up with our dads.
Our
Because
dads are great, by the way. Like,
oh,
I don't want it to
amazing
make it seem
fathers.
like they're
His father's
fucking
great, my
deadbeats.
dad's great, and our mother's like angels, sweethearts, and it's just don't know how they tolerate such bullshit, but they are they both love metal, and I feel like for both of us, that's kind of the kind of
That's a lot of
where it
our
came from.
upbringing.
Yeah,
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 that was mine. My introduction
yeah.
to metal was my dad. I'll go into more on that if we do, like, first metal bands we listen to or something,
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
go off on that one.
that would be a good one for sure.
So let's start this. Mike,
Yeah.
I got a question for you. So I
Mhm.
did have this ready to bring to your attention. I did have this. So, it
So,
was a pretty solid fucking week for music, man.
it really was. We don't
Yeah.
get this too often,
Oh, 2 fucking banger albums. 2.
too.
And I've only listened to the one, and I've heard nothing but great things for the other.
I've listened to one about 3 times, and I started to listen to the other a little bit, but then, of course, kinda getting this podcast off the road. So I really need to take a deep delve into that, but from what I heard, whew,
Oh,
amazing.
it's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
but
So
yeah.
let's start with that. So we have
Yes.
Whitechapel, The Hymns of Dissonance. Do you know which studio album this is for them? Is this their 5th? 6th?
I think,
They have a
if I'm not mistaken, I wanna say it's their 8th?
dude, they have a fucking discography now, man.
I I'm taking a quick peek real quick because 'cause I'd like to say so we had Somatic Defilement, which is their first one. This is Exile, New Era of Corruption. Then they had a self-title called just Whitechapel. Our Endless War, Brotherhood of the Blade, Mark of the Blade, The Valley, Kin, which was prior to this one, and now we have Hymns of Dissonance. So yeah, 8.
Damn. Can you imagine that? Like, being in now for anyone who doesn't know, in my previous life, I did music. I was in a band, and I always thought to myself, "Dude, how awesome would it be to have, like, 100 fucking songs to choose from for a set list?" I couldn't even imagine those guys trying to think of one. I mean, let alone some of the older, like, we're talking, like, fucking Maiden or, like, Priest and all those, but I mean, 8 albums in today's generation, dude, that's a big fucking deal, and they're
It
still,
is.
like, on top of the world right now.
They are, and it's been. I mean, the they've had such a diverse, um, sound over the course. I mean, it's always been Whitechapel, of course, but even these like last 2 albums that they had was such like a different take on what they normally do. It's like they've explored so many different avenues too, and it's always been, the general consensus that, stating that it's amazing, whatever the take may be, if it's, pure borderline grindcore, deathcore to like, you know, melodic,
Pop,
well, they never got that they never got there, but, just that, that some melodic undertones, it almost was like reminiscent of like, I wouldn't go out as far as to say Tool, but very proggy in a way where, um, just singing and the melodics that were in some like these last 2 albums, Ken and the Valley was just like, "What? Like, this is Whitechapel?" And now they're back again, like, at their roots, where we're talking, Somatic Defilement, which for 2007, was their first album. It seems like we've just gone back to that, but not being a repeat of the album, but it's certainly, um, in vein of that new album, and if anything, better than, what that was. It's something. I mean, I'm on my 3rd listen of this album, um, and I can't I think I even started, like, a 4th listen a little bit today, just kinda had it in the background playing it. Like, it's been amazing.
dude, I'm really excited, like, I by no means was I upset that it was, "Hey, I'll do Spiritbox, you do Whitechapel." Uh, but I am very excited to listen to this album. I went online, read reviews, and everybody's praising the shit out of this album, saying how amazing it is. And you said that it goes back into some of their older stuff. Like,
Yeah.
what does it kinda remind you of? Like, which album? This Is Exile?
Prior to that, the Somatic de not too many people have listened to it. Which I would gauge. I really feel like This Is Exile was kind of their blow up album. Um, but the album prior to that, The Somatic Defilement, was really the, kind of where I caught wind of them. The tail end of that album before This Is Exile actually dropped. But it's that album is, I mean, to say the least, just straight up deathcore, like deathcore to a T. Like it is. There's not too much, you know, metalcore because I feel like This Is Exile kind of brought to the table a little bit more, not quite metalcore, but it wasn't like a full on onslaught of deathcore, just barrage of heaviness,
It was
and like
easier
fast
listening.
was
It
easier listening.
Yeah.
Yes. It had its moments of like ups and downs, very ebb and flow, I guess you could say, of This Is Exile. Um, Somatic Defilement was just a bombardment of just death.
Free
Yeah,
Beery,
yeah,
Pig
I guess we could
Squeals.
say yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Blast beats, um, very fast, very fast, very heavy, um, and we're almost at that again, where it's I guess we can what in the variation why it's different, it's very crisp, it has, like, a punishing drum blast, like, tremolo, like, blackened death metal sound to it that's but overall, the production quality is just, like, amazing in comparison.
Yeah.
I wanna say in comparison to I mean, it was a great album, the first one being a great album, but there's just it's like they've amplified it times 10.
Well, it's probably
Um,
night and day too
it
from,
is.
what, almost 20 years ago.
Yes, I mean, and I guess given the technology and,
Oh, it's
recording
gotten
equipment
so
and
much
things
better.
like that, so,
Metalcore is amazing now,
yeah.
and any metal right now is just ridiculous. Let's just take the triggers and just trigger these drums to 9,000, duk, 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 duk,
I
duk,
mean, pretty much.
and I love it. That's all I want. So would you say this album is would you say this is your favorite Whitechapel album?
Ooh. I
Or do you
think
think it could be?
it could be. I think there's always those bands that, no matter they can continue to pump out good music, and then I'll just kind of segue off of this for a minute. Let's say, for instance, August Burns Red, album after album, amazing. But there's always gonna be those, like, pinnacle albums that will always hit you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's just you can't that's what it was, and I feel like for me, this is up there, any top contender with This Is Exile, because This Is Exile for me is certainly one of those albums that when I heard it, it really was a, like, forefront at the time uh, of deathcore for me that really, not to say that I wasn't into deathcore, I mean, it's, Suicide Silence, things like that I certainly listened to earlier, but
Ooh,
it was
yeah.
kind of a reintroduction of deathcore for me that, uh, that really, you know, drilled it in and kept me down that path. Like, "Ooh, I love this, like, this stuff's really good." I mean, and it's always been metalcore for me in the past, we can say, like,
Yeah.
As I Lay Dying, Killswitch Engaged, Darkest Hour, things like that has always been more the my forte, but then for some reason or another, This Is Exile came out and I was like, "This is great. This is some heavy shit."
These
Um,
guys are gonna be somebody.
Certainly,
Well,
yeah.
they did Warped Tour. I saw them at Warped Tour back in '09, maybe, and I was like,
That had to
I
be
think
This
I
Is
think you
Exile,
had
probably.
it oh, it was so you had showed me This Is Exile, and I was like, "Dude, I don't know if I can do this." I mean, that was that long ago, but I was like, "This might be too much for me." And I was good with experimental and everything, but yeah, I think at the time, I don't think my tiny brain could handle it. It was too much. Now I'll listen to that
'Cause
all over the place.
I feel like there's so many bands now, and I mean, that I can
Yeah.
respect. That's, like Thy Art Is Murder and,
Ooh,
things
ooh,
in that vein that's like,
ooh.
really this genre was not really, I don't wanna say mainstream,
Oh, it wasn't
but
mainstream. You could
but
you could
now
say
it's
that. It wasn't.
I in the metal community now, I feel like deathcore has certainly become more of a mainstream thing. Like, a lot more people accept it, respect it, and, like, it's
Yeah.
become, some of these are very household names, like, again, Whitechapel, The Artist Murder, and, other bands in the same vein. That's
How does it feel to know that bands that are getting big now say that Whitechapel was like a band they looked up to growing up?
it
How does that
makes me
make you
feel
feel?
it makes me feel old.
Oh, I mean, we are.
Well, and it's hard to think, yeah, I
That's
guess
a
I'm
that's a
getting at that age.
okay.
Yeah,
It's rough. It's rough.
but it is cool because it's one of those bands you grew up with and, not to tangent off of, but, I feel like our dads say that a lot too, where it's just like, "Oh, I remember these guys back in the day," like, we're there now,
Oh,
and
shit,
we're
dude. I'm definitely there now.
yeah,
Back in
we're
my day.
like, "Oh, these guys, they sound like Whitechapel." Like, but
What's up with this fucking Sigma Boy song? Sigma, Sigma Boy. Like, something about this Sigma Boy,
hmm,
and then I just go outside and I just blast
I don't
fucking
even
Lorna
know.
Shore or something.
That might be actually out of my realm too, but I feel like
Oh,
it's
bro.
probably some,
Bro, Skibbity Toilet and
alpha generation. Is this what's that what we call
I
this?
I don't
The
even know. I lost track. It's just my kids.
Yeah, it's the
It's like just
Zoomers.
their
It's not even
fuck
Zoomers anymore. It's, like Alpha. I forgot what we're at, but yeah, I can't
Alpha,
keep up.
the Sigmas. It's the Sigmas. the alphas and the
Yeah.
omegas. So that flips us so that'll flip us over to, uh, the other banger of an album that came out was, Spiritbox, Tsunami Sea, and this
Yeah.
was
I so I've
mm,
heard a couple of the singles, of course, over the course of time
best song on the
that's come
album
out,
isn't even a single. Blows my mind,
and that's
blows my
crazy.
mind.
Um, what is what was your overall take on it? Because I listened to it a little bit in the background, and the couple, let's say the couple singles that have come out so far, um, I'm trying to recall which it was it
Oh, I couldn't tell you the
Per
fucking singles.
Perfect Soul? Was that, I think, one of the singles that came out?
Uh, I know there's Soft Spine.
Soft Spine, yeah,
Soft
Soft
Spine's
Spine,
one.
and I think Perfect Soul were the 2 that I've heard so far.
So I actually didn't hear any of the singles.
Oh,
I
okay.
was I was
You
off
held
on a
back.
I was off on a different album tangent the past couple months. Actually, no, the past couple weeks. New Architects, by the way.
Mm,
I've been kinda dissecting that album, and so listened when I listened to Tsunami Sea, I do what I always do, slap it in my car on the
mhm,
way to work, on the way back, and then I really dive into it, and I really listen to it. And if you were to take if you were to take Eternal Blue and Rotoscope
mhm.
and literally mash them together, that's what Tsunami Sea is. It has oh, man, Courtney fucking kills it with her vocals. There's just I mean, yeah, but what I get everybody, "Oh, well, there's Ginger, there's, these other, like,
Mm,
female-fronted metal bands." Like, I get that, but
mhm.
Courtney has, a melody about her that you can't find, like, you don't find in metalcore. Like, it's just it doesn't exist at all.
Yeah,
Almost to say she has an angelic voice is almost like an understatement for it, but she really brings it out this album, like, the whole time. She slaps you in your face with the fucking screams, and the band obviously is just they know what I wanna listen to, like, they know what metalcore is. So, their riffs, their hooks, uh, the the ambient sounds in the background down to that is it's just fuck, man, it's a quality album. Like, it's masterfully produced. Um, I was very excited to hear Josh because obviously as Josh left As I Lay Dying, I was very excited when I heard that he was joining Spiritbox, and then
that's right, yeah.
they did they did the Rotoscope album, and he barely didn't even do anything. Now, mind you, I don't know if Josh was on that album or not. I'm almost positive he was, but there was, it was decent, or not Rotoscope, I'm sorry. The other album, The Fear of Fear. That's what it
Mm,
was, which was an EP. They had a couple other EPs. Fuck, The Fear of Fear. Yeah, Rotoscope was only a 3-track EP. But the, Fear of Fear was definitely him, and I was upset that I just didn't hear anything on it. Now, I don't want Josh to, like, sing, parts. I don't need him to because I'm sure that's why he even liked joining Spiritbox. Fuck, I can play bass live. I don't need to sing anymore. But his harmonies are just so good. Like, his voice is just so good that it's like a
oh,
disservice to us
yeah.
to not hear it. And you hear it a few times on Tsunami Sea, but, just more,
S
more
so
sugar and water, more.
more sugar water.
Sugar sugar and water.
I
We
don't know
quote
if
movies a lot too, by the way, everybody.
yeah,
Men in Black.
this is a tangent. Yes, yeah. So, I I'm a huge fan of Eternal Blue. I love that album, fantastic through and through. How do you think Tsunami Sea showcases their evolution, since Eternal Blue? what do you think differs? How do you think what do you think has changed or evolved since then that makes the album stand out more?
So I could be wrong, but
In your opinion, of course. I mean,
I'll
how you feel in
I'll at
comparison to
least no, well, so I could be wrong in a few statements that I may make. I would
Mhm,
say that nothing that Spiritbox puts out is gonna be as good as Eternal Blue. So if you didn't
mhm,
like that album, you're probably if you're listening right now and you did not like Eternal Blue, you're probably not gonna like anything else they make. Maybe, but Eternal Blue, if you were following Spiritbox prior to that, that album was fucking lightning in a bottle. Like, when that album came out, there was nothing else. No one gave a shit about any other album that was out at that time. Everybody stopped and listened to Spiritbox. It was all over the internet.
yeah,
Courtney LaPlante, like, ran fucking metal. Every album had her on it. Era even had Courtney LaPlante, as a guest vocal on an album. I think there's, like, probably a handful of other bands that wanted her on their album, and that's because it was just it was I mean, when I say lightning in a bottle, that was what it was. I mean, there was nothing as big as Eternal Blue when it came out. And I think they got that and they gained their fame. And I think with Rotoscope and The Fear of Fear, I believe why they did EPs, why they put out 2 quick EPs. Number 1 is to say, "Hey, I think this is what we wanna sound like, so let's put it out and see what people say." And people enjoyed it. Rotoscope was okay. I really like
mm,
The Fear of Fear. There's a couple songs on the album that I could even say that no one's gonna like this song. I probably enjoyed it, but there's gonna be people that are just like, "Oh, this song sucks," and skippable track. Excuse me. But I think they finally found their niche with Tsunami Sea, and I think that's what makes it I think that's what I enjoy most about it is because I have a feeling the next album that they come out with is gonna be it's gonna sound like Tsunami Sea, and I'm okay with that. I don't need them to change at
so
all.
do you think they've, I guess, for say not found their sound, but have matured in their sound to a point of where this may be like a standard, like they're this is one's quite I would say quite pinnacle. I mean, there's always room for improvement, way to ways to be blown away even further down the road. But do you think they've really established their sound through this album?
Yeah, I think I just don't think anything's gonna be if they get bigger, it'll be because oh, sorry, slap my mic, bitch. I think I think if they get bigger, it's gonna be and y I've seen a lot of interviews on with artists and everything, and a lot of people always wonder why, "Why did so and so change their sound, blah, blah, blah." Architects, perfect example,
Mm,
man. Like, now granted, Architects they've had a rough road. I mean, we know that. Like,
yeah,
they've dealt with more shit than a lot of bands,
yeah,
and I think you do get to a point where you realize, "Okay, this is great, we're selling out clubs, but we need to start, like, selling out theaters." Like, "Hey, it's great, we've sold out theaters, we need to go to, like, arenas now." You know what I mean? Like, you've gotta keep pushing to that next step. I think if Spiritbox is okay with how they sound, this is what they're gonna sound like. They're gonna sound
yeah.
like Tsunami Sea. Now, Courtney, I think, is someone who likes I think she enjoys change. I mean, she came from I Wrestled a Bear once. That
Hmm.
whole fucking band was just change in itself, in a good way, not in a bad way. But so you never know, and maybe a Grammy is what they may wanna go after, you know? Maybe they want to start making arena rock to try to sell out those, arenas or get to stadiums. I mean, it's those kinda things, like, you just kinda have to wait and see, but I think if they're like, "You know what? Let's just keep playing what we do. Let's keep playing our festivals. Let's keep doing this. We're gonna get more albums like this." Hands down. And I'm okay with it. I'm good with it. Let
No,
it be. Let it be.
oh, DMCA, careful. We'll get a strike for that. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Who's who do I need to get to who do I need to get whose
I need
balls
to
do I need to lick to get copyright?
mm,
Be careful, that's copyright infringement right there. We also need to be careful, my mom watches this podcast.
yeah.
So,
So my mom will too. It's okay. But I don't think
okay.
it's anything out of the ordinary that they would expect out of our mouths.
Well, actually, Mike, I do actually have a mailbag. I asked, I sent this thing out to a website and I said, "Hey, we're going to be doing a podcast on this
Mhm,
day. What are some questions that I can ask? Or what are if you guys have some questions, we'll answer it on the show, right?" So
mhm.
I have one, and this is what someone named Darrel sent me. He says
Okay.
he's
I'm waiting.
he says I don't he's from Darrell. He's from West Virginia.
Okay.
He says, "Hey, I'm Fear and Kevin Moore. I don't know if this is normal or not, but last time I went through the TSA, the guy pulled the guy put all four fingers into my asshole.
Okay.
What's unfortunate is I could tell he was getting hard, dude.
Now
I'm not even gonna answer that. I'm just gonna kind of let that stew in this podcast.
now was that, you know, are are we directed was that a question?
I think it was a question for you.
Hmm.
He said he may be wrong. Do you think he's wrong? Four fingers.
Well, I
How
guess it
many
depends
how many knuck deep?
at least at least at least 4. I mean, at least a fistful.
A
Yeah,
fistful of doll hairs?
Darrell, West Virginia, I feel, you know, whatever floats your boat, there's no judgment here, no, there's no wrongdoings. I mean, if that's something you and this TSA agent had a moment over, and maybe it was something that helped, you know, break through. Maybe it broke a boundary that you needed to get through to realize who
We'll
you
cut.
are in life.
All right. So now that we got that music shit out of the way, Mike,
Mhm.
what are you playing right now? In the words of Resident Evil, what are you playing? What are you boying?
What are you selling?
Yeah, what are you playing right now, man?
Right now, I am engrossed in the world of
Give me
Days
something good.
Gone.
Days Gone.
Yes, the PlayStation exclusive.
My man's like
Um,
10
I am
years
behind.
late.
I am way behind. It came out on was it about 10 years, I guess? Was it really 10
Yeah,
years now?
it was PlayStation 4. It was a
Oh,
while ago.
wow.
Yeah, it was a hot minute ago, buddy.
I mean, oof, oof.
Shame on you.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think Days Gone maybe in the last 4 or 5 years came on PC.
Don't do that.
I mean,
Don't do that. Just because you don't have a PlayStation, they do blame it on the
eh,
PC.
I you know,
Any man worth his weight in salt has played Days Gone.
PC Master Race, my hair blows in the wind and evades said things you throw at me as such.
A hot,
He's
hot take though, I've never played the game.
Mm, yeah, Mr. PlayStation. But I'm heavily engrossed in that game right now. It is by far, and I guess this, kinda goes with most PlayStation exclusives. Me being diehard Metal Gear fan, uh,
Oh yeah.
God of War, a lot of these just PlayStation exclusives. I mean, just the
Look at that.
storylines that PlayStation and the studios they put out, or rather their studio puts out with these games is just next level.
Oh,
And
it's they're AAA hands down. Like, I mean, we know they're AAA, but
it's
they really are top
like
tier.
movie grade content. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, Days Gone. I'm 40 probably about 44, 45 hours into this game now.
And
Um,
that's strange for you for a single player game
yeah,
because 'cause you're
yeah,
not
I
really a single player buff.
no, not at all. There's very select games that I play single player. Again, one of them being Metal Gear. I think really the last game I sat and played through single player wise and enjoyed every minute of it was Cyberpunk.
Oh, great
Um,
game, dude. Great
that's
call
an
out.
that's another game that's just, as far as like storyline goes, it's just it it immerses you into this world that's like I have to keep playing to figure out
Es
what's going to happen next.
especially when Cyberpunk released, it was the best game in the world.
Mm, you know,
Moving on.
yeah, well, that's a different topic. It's in
Look,
a
dude,
fantastic place now.
look, it is when it first came out, I would
Rough.
say that that was probably the best game in the world, hands down. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. And we're back.
And we're back, everybody.
Um,
So what made you pick up Days Gone? Like, why now? Because it's such an odd time to play it. Is it a drought? Like a
yeah,
sea drought?
there hasn't been quite there hasn't been really been too much, aside from like the here and there, fast food simulator, um, uh, you know, bartender simulator. We have tobacco store simulator. Um, I might be I might be a sucker for simulators now, and I think I realize that. But there
Oh, they're
hasn't really
fun, dude.
they
They're
are
they're
fun.
so
They're
fucking
fun.
stupid, but they're so much fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do a stream where we're yelling at each other and trying to like flip patties as fast as possible.
I you know what?
I'm gonna let the people know right now that this man yells at me as so let's take a step back. We used to work together many years ago. I won't throw the company name out there, but it was a game store. We'll just put that out there. Um, really
Of
well-known
such.
game store. Uh, he was my manager and, very good manager. Loved him to death, probably one of the best managers I've
Thanks,
ever
man.
had.
Thanks, man.
Um, but, he kept things in check and, us being good friends and all, I would still respect him as a manager. Outside of it, we'd still have our bullshit and banter and have a good time. But, during the work days, he was manager. He was manager Kevin, and I respected him as such. Um, and and
But this goddamn fast food simulator,
but what
it brought the worst out of it.
we began the journey of fast food simulator, which my god is a janky.
Oh, it was fun.
It's fun. It's
It was
fun.
fun.
I have never had I have never felt so degraded in my life. I felt subpar. I felt subhuman. I tried my best to get these burgers out, but it was never enough for this man. But you know what? It
He needed
certainly
he needed more. He needed more
he
more
yelled at me.
wrappers.
I was half tempted to just go to sleep instead of play this
Yeah.
game and not wake up. But aside from all of that, yeah, so we have great times in these games.
Hey,
Um,
dude,
yeah, yeah.
I run a tight fucking ship, man.
No,
I don't give a fuck. It's if it's burgers or slinging slinging Guitar Hero bundles
yeah,
at people.
slinging them indeed.
Yes. And
Uh,
also Buzz Quiz. Selling Buzz Quiz to people.
mm, to
I run a
people.
tight ship, buddy. I run a tight ship.
Yes.
All right, so Days Gone.
So, yeah,
Days
fast
Gone.
forwarding,
Why
we
are we
have
picking Days
these
Gone?
multiplayer games aside, yeah, because as Kevin mentioned, I'm a huge multiplayer buff guy. I do like community. I like have, that sense of playing with others. That's always been my go-to.
That's what she
So
said.
single player for me, single player for me has always been, once I finally got high speed internet, multiplayer all day. But uh, it's finally been one of those games for me that's I'm also a huge zombie guy, like, I love
Yeah,
zombie stuff. Um, Actually, kinda think of it, I just got done watching, and I think this kind of maybe was a subliminal.
like something that made you wanna play it.
Yeah, there's a Netflix series, that's based on DayZ, or not DayZ, World War Z.
Great movie,
That
by the way.
that's a fantastic movie. Um, it's in the same universe as World War Z. Black Summer. Black Summer is the name of the show. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Have you seen that show
I
on
have not.
Netflix?
I have not.
So they canceled the series. It's unfortunate because
So now I really don't wanna watch it.
you need, if you're a horror guy, you like
I am.
zombies. Um, I found it to be really good. Um, it's essentially the start of, you know, this whole mess with World War Z, but it takes place in a, like, Montana, something out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Um,
place that no one gives a shit if something
yeah,
happens like that.
exactly. So it's
Yeah,
kind of small scale in the sense versus, let's say, like the movies where it's just, they're crawling on top of each other like ants and
yeah.
everything. Um, Without spoiling too much, I they did a really good job with the show. They canceled it after the second season, but they ended it on a good note. I feel was kind of enough to s for, like, Walking Dead, things like that. I feel like it was just it drug out. It was a great show. I love Walking Dead, but it drug out, in
Oh,
my
yeah.
opinion. In my
Yeah, no,
opinion,
no, you're with that's everybody's opinion, you're good.
um, but I feel like maybe it was a good thing that it ended. But the downfall of this, it just didn't get enough, publicity behind it. I think that's kind of what shot it down, is not enough people knew about it. It didn't have enough marketing behind it, but overall, um, the cinematography, uh, the gore, the overall story, really good. So I got to watching this and I couldn't stop. I binged 2 seasons in probably 3 or 4 days, where I was just
God
watching
damn.
it all day. Like, my wife and I were just sat down and watched the series because, my wife is not even really a big horror or action, person. She was actually enjoyed it too. So, um, but I think after I got done playing, watching that, something clicked in my head that said, I need to play Daisy, or Days Gone. So I feel like it was just this culmination of several days of zombies in my head, um, the here and there nightmare as well.
Do you
That
fight thousands of zombies at a time?
in
Days Gone.
Days Gone, not
Hundreds?
necessarily hundreds. I would say hundreds. There are, so PC wise, there are mods you can amp up the volume of these things, and it's
Oh, here we
absolutely
go.
horrifying.
Here we go.
But I
Can you
I
make
I
can you make them Thomas the fucking Train Engines too?
I um
Or perhaps maybe
I'm
some
gonna go
Macho
look this
Man
up.
Randy Savages? Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. No, I've just been playing vanilla all the way through because I didn't want to. With most games, I do want to play
With
vanilla, at
Moth.
least Myth. Most games I do want to play. That's to you, Bobby. Um,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bobby. Oh wow, we're tangenting now. Yeah, so I'm playing vanilla right now. Overall the story is absolutely amazing. I haven't played a zombie game to date that has such a jaw-dropping turn, like, just the turn of events that happen in this game. It feels like, I'm playing a game, but it feels like at the same time I'm watching you know, a AAA movie of like high
Yeah,
budget movie.
that's PlayStation Studios, man.
every time I get to a certain point in the game, it's, like, late, I have to work at, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, "Oh god, it's midnight." But I get to a point where I'm just like, "Oh," and I stop and I'm like, "I can't wait to pick this up tomorrow." Like,
Dude, that's a good feeling, man.
that's how engrossed I am in this single player game where it's just like I put it down, I get to a good spot, and I'm just like, "Wow, that was amazing. I can't wait to pick this up." So, yeah, that's where I'm at with this game right now, I've seen a few other things out there that's caught my eye, but I really wanna finish this game up. I feel like I'm at the tail end of it, without any spoilers. Don't wanna ruin it. Um, but I feel like I probably only have a couple hours left, and I think I'm gonna be sad when it ends, but I'll just have to find the next best thing. What about you? Where are you at in the video game world right now?
Oh, dude, it's definitely, I'm doing Monster Hunter Wilds. That's,
Mm,
like, my go-to. Game is it's I could give a shit less how you PC people feel about it. I've heard it's
you
just
know
nothing but abysmal on there, but on the
it's
PlayStation, it's fucking flawless, man. I love it.
I wanna give it a shot, but I as with ported games, I need to give it a sec I need to give it a little breathing room, and I think that's just the unfortunate part with ports anymore these days.
I'd like to believe Capcom's pretty good though at,
I just think people are miserable on Steam, and they have to leave crappy reviews, so it might even actually be good, you know? I'm not, just going off reviews.
I mean,
Spiritbox.
so no, they expect if they're spending 70 fucking dollars for a video game, they expect
Mm,
$70 worth of a fucking video game, and they
true.
don't need it to. I mean, PC, you guys, I say you guys, even though I have a PC that
You're
can
here.
actually game now,
You're here.
but,
Yeah.
um, I I feel like it's not the responsibility of PC players to. I mean, there isn't a question that, "Hey, I've gotta download something extra to make this run better," or, "I have to download this to make this run better."
Yeah.
So I get that, don't get me wrong, if you're porting, there's a lot that you've gotta do. Like, those guys, the engineers and, software developers and everything, it's not as easy as just, copy and pasting. You've gotta translate everything and be prepared for, this PC to be able to run it or this bottom end PC to be able to run it all the way to this
Uh-huh.
top tier PC. So I get that.
There's so many hardware variations, yeah.
But don't do it then. Like, don't even put it on there. Like, don't waste people's time. Or do what well, shit, I was gonna say do what Rockstar did, but have they done ports where it's just been horrible before?
Mm. Yeah, oh, well, the thing with Rockstar and they tend to and it's always been this way with PC releases as far back as I can remember, so San Andreas kind of really being the
Oh,
the
great
point
game.
where fantastic game. Um, so yeah, I had a PlayStation for many years, had San Andreas on PlayStation. Um, when I wanted to get, on PC as with any other game, you just wanna mod it, and at the time, somebody built a multiplayer mod for it, so, I mean, there's just so many cool aspects for it to be on PC, but with Rockstar, they always tend to release it, like, a year later, maybe a year and some change. So, I do give them credit that when they release a game, it's typically flawless on console. Out the gate, always just flawless, and then I think that gives them enough time to still hone out the details of, like, what needs to be, like, fixed or taken into account for PC because any PC release I've had in which I've had every P iteration of Grand Theft Auto since San Andreas on PC has been flawless. Like, I don't know what they do, they just do something right, and I think it's because they're not rushing these things for one. They know people are gonna buy it. Um, they know that I mean, it's just the cult following this genre or rather this series has had for so long that they know people are gonna buy it and are gonna wait for it. Or just go buy a console. But,
Dude, can I give you a hot take?
yeah.
I I think God, dude, my fucking cats are going batshit right behind me. Perks of having 2 cats that just chase each other. every
I
fucking
think
5
I heard
seconds.
that.
So hot take, and we'll do you know what? One of these days, maybe we'll do a hot take episode. Um, I think besides San Andreas,
Mhm.
Grand Theft Auto sucks.
And that's
I'm in the minority. I know that. They're just
I
not
know.
fun. There's so
I
many other games I could play. San Andreas was so much fun. Vice City was pretty good.
I love Vice City. That was a great game.
You know
Still is
what's
a great
funny is I was gonna say since San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto hasn't been good, but it's only been 2 fucking games.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's not like Madden. Like, we get
it's
one every
been
year.
it's been on the top since then. I guess my thing it's just not my forte.
Yeah.
And when everybody talks about it, like I'll another fucking hot take, Halo wasn't the best like first person shooter
No.
when it was released.
I'm in that actually majority too. We're
Like
in the small majority
not
there.
even the greatest looking. Everybody was like, "Dude, Halo is the best looking game, the best looking
No.
first person shooter." And I'm like sitting over here playing like Unreal, like Unreal Gold
Oof.
years prior to Halo. And I was like, "Have you
Yeah.
fucking seen these graphics?" This
Yeah.
is like 90 something. Oh,
Yeah.
we can talk about some old school boomer shooters, man.
Yeah, boomer shooters
That's one
and
thing. If you're a boomer shooter fan, that's my fucking
same.
forte, dude.
That's where we came from. Quake, Unreal Tournament,
Fucking Blood, Blake Stone,
what's the other? The
Counter-Strike, did we already
Twitch
say that?
shooters, yeah.
Oh, man. What's the one that you played all the time?
Soldier of Fortune 2.
Ricochet? No.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
too.
Fucking double helix, man. See, you damn Soldier of Fortune.
I know, that was another one that not too many people enjoyed, but, for our next episode, I will potentially delve into that a little bit, but
Yeah, maybe we'll
for
do,
another time.
yeah, and if there's, anything for whoever's listening or if you made it this far, number 1, I really do wanna appreciate you taking the time listening, and,
Mhm.
if you'd like to support the channel, just smash that fucking like button. Hit that subscribe button. That helps us a ton as I smash the mic,
Yeah.
hands down. But yeah, if there's certain content that you all wanna see or if you thought there was something that we could add a little bit to, just go ahead and throw it down there, you know? "Hey, I wanna see a hot takes video. Hey, I wanna see M. Fear stand on his head the entire time." I don't know if
I'll
that'll work,
try.
but we'll figure it out.
I
We could
might
do that.
pass out, but I'll do it for you.
"Hey, why don't we try to bring Darrel from West Virginia on the show?" If that's what you want, hey, that's what we'll do. You know, we might be able to
Oh,
do that for you guys.
we can Daryl from West Virginia, Bop Bop from
Mm,
Arkansas.
yep. Brian
Um,
from Quantico.
yes. Yeah, he's that boy.
He's that boy from Quantico. But, guys, I wanna thank every one of you for hanging out with us, and once again, I've been Kevin Moore,
And Mike Fear, AKA M Fear.
and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah,
Peace.
take care, everyone.